Most of our anger is when somebody has wronged us or we think somebody has wronged us. Jesus got angry when somebody else was being hurt, not when it was him. And we need to make certain that if we have anger, it's a holy anger. That it's an anger for the right reason, not just to fly off the handle, so to speak. And we also need to be sure we are angry at the right things. Jesus did not get angry with individuals. Jesus got angry with institutions and forms and sins, but not with the individuals. He loved individuals. It's okay at times to be angry about some wrong done, but we're not to be angry with the wrongdoer. Most of us get angry at the wrongdoer. We're angry people. Let's admit it. And we retaliate. That's the first thing we think of when we think we've been wronged. What can I do to get even? Jesus didn't do that. Jesus loved people. He was moved with anger at hard hearts. And while he had righteous indignation for the misuse of the places of worship when he threw the money changers out of the temple, but Jesus was kind and compassionate and loving and caring. And we're told in Matthew 11:19 that although people were considered gluttons, drunkards, and sinners, he was their friend, even to the IRS of their day. The tax collectors. He even made one of them one of the disciples, Matthew. Jesus became angry, but his anger was for the right reasons and the right things. His anger was also used in the proper manner. Jesus let his anger make him a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. When we lose our temper, we usually become a part of the problem and it just snowballs and gets worse, right? Be honest. Right? James 1:20 says, man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. When it's God's anger, when it's a righteous anger, then the righteousness of God will be the result. Anger can show a very foolish mindset. The Bible doesn't say to never be angry, but to be slow to anger, to be very careful. There are some forms of dissipation that will hurt our testimony when we're out in the world. And it will kill our influence and reveal our character more than our anger and our quick temper. There's nothing else that can destroy our testimony and our witness. If you're one that has a short fuse, or one of those people always flying off the handle, the Bible says you're one of those people with a foolish mind. Now you're probably sitting there saying, wait a minute, preacher, you quit preaching and going to meddling now. But God said in Ecclesiastes 7:9, do not be hasty in your spirit to be angry, for anger resides in the laps of fools. Anger resides in the laps of fools. Anger also reveals a poor character. Proverbs 16:32 says, better a patient man than a warrior, a man who controls his temper than one who conquers a city. Some people think that anger, a temper, especially a violent temper, is a sign of strength. That's their manhood. You know, some people are bullies at home and school, and we hear a lot today about bullies to LGBT children. But you know, adults can really be bullies in the workplace. Really be bullies. And even in public. Or in the privacy of our homes. You know, people get upset and they throw and they scream and they yell. Scream at their spouses or their boyfriends or girlfriends. Pout if your mate doesn't do exactly what you want at the exact moment you want it done. And it makes them miserable and you miserable. And you start chipping away at the foundation of your relationship. Or we get in our cars because we're upset. We drive like a maniac down the highway. And we have those bumper stickers on our cars, honk if you love Jesus, and all this. We drive like maniacs. And then somebody pulls out in front of us and we roll the window down and we shoot them some of those beautiful one-fingered signs. Somebody said, careful, I think I quit preaching on the meddling again. And we think it's a sign of our strength, of our manhood and our womanhood. But it's not. It's a sign of your babyhood. The baby inside us has come out and we're throwing temper tantrums and getting upset. And when we get angry, we lose control and we open the door to all sorts of other sins coming out. Things we say and we do that we would not normally do. Proverbs 29:22 says, an angry person stirs up dissension, and a hot-tempered one commits many sins. We get furious and the sins just start multiplying, almost instantly. And things happen. Things are said that we would give anything in the world if we could take back. But once words are spoken, they cannot be unspoken. And Gordon, forgive me. I'm a former certified legal manager, so I worked with the court systems in Chicago. And I can assure you, attorneys know that to be a fact. How many times have you seen an attorney say something to a witness or a jury in a courtroom knowing that judge is going to say, strike that, and turn to the jury and say, ignore that? That attorney knows once he's said that in front of that jury, it's in their minds. They know. And we are the same way. Once we've said it, it's there. And you can't just take a number 2 pencil eraser and erase it away. It doesn't happen. We lose our minds and we lose our control. That verse says we commit many sins. Somebody has said that anger is a stone thrown into a wasp's nest. And anger is one letter short of the word danger. How are we to deal with it? How are we to control our temper? We need to start treating it as it is. It's a sin. It's a sin. God called it a sin. I didn't call it that. We need to start treating it that way. Some people are so proud of their tempers. You know, they brag about it. My dad's family are all Irish. My great-grandparents immigrated from Ireland. And I had a bunch of red-headed aunts. And I have a sister who's red-headed. And they all bragged about being red-headed and having tempers. I can't tell you the number of times I heard my sister say, you better watch out because I'm a redhead. And she had a temper. Other people I've heard say, well, you know, well, I just get it from my dad. I got my dad's temper. It's part of my DNA. As great as DNA is for solving medical and criminal mysteries, it sure gets blamed for a lot of things DNA has nothing to do with. And then there are those who say, now, if I pout long enough, or if I complain enough to anybody who will listen, I'll eventually get my way about whatever I want. None of us have ever done that, right? Just remember, when I point my finger at you, I have 3 pointing back at me. That complaining and pouting is what I call the squeaky wheel syndrome. And people who engage in that squeaky wheel syndrome don't care who they hurt. They don't care if they create disunity in the church. They don't care if it even destroys and drives away half a congregation. Because they're going to try to get their way, no matter what.